Where we at, Goo? The Brooklyn Library, that's where, because God did, Hov did. If you haven't heard, the billionaire businessman and rapper Sean Carter has an exhibit at the Brooklyn Public Library titled The Book of Hov. Okay, so take a look at this. His lyrics are all across the building. The experience spans across 2 floors. Inside you'll find visuals, artifacts, audio stories, and more that really showcase nearly 3 decades of this billionaire's life. Man, when I tell you, I'm just so inspired. The rock sign is sculpted beautifully. There's also a replica of Baseline Studios where he recorded some of his most influential work. I'm talking the blueprint. Listen, God definitely did. Jay-Z is no doubt the GOAT, but I wouldn't be Beehive if I didn't mention that he had an incredible wife and partner by his side through most of this. So big congrats, Jay, on this huge accomplishment, inspiring the culture always. Okay, so it's not every day that I get the chance to talk about my 2 favorite rappers of all time back to back, Jay-Z and Tupac. Tupac Shakur's murder case is still open and active. Apparently, Las Vegas police served a search warrant in the case on July 17th. But there are a lot of unknowns here. I'm talking, we don't know where yet, we don't know why, we don't know how the search warrant is connected to the overall case. There are many conspiracy theories surrounding his death or non-death, okay? Tupac was shot multiple times after leaving a boxing match back in 1996, and the case was never closed. Listen, I cry every time I watch a Tupac movie, and every time I know how it ends, y'all. Tupac was an incredibly talented artist and activist that lived 2 lives simultaneously. Now, one thing that Tupac talked about a lot in his music was systemic racism. He didn't use those words, but he oftentimes described the concept in songs like Me Against the World and Changes. Learn to see me as a brother instead of 2 distant strangers, all right? Apparently, a new study published in the journal JAMA found that structural racism may play a role in mass shootings in major metro cities across the U.S. And check this out. It disproportionately impacts Black people. Well, duh. The whole idea of systemic racism, structural racism, is that there are systems and procedures in place that serve as a disadvantage to Black people. A simple example of that is living in a low-income area or city, okay? This likely means that your public school is underfunded, thus impacting the types of programs you have, which impacts your overall education, which can have a strong influence on what you can accomplish in life. You get my gist? Well, apparently this very genius study found that areas with higher Black populations are more likely to experience mass shootings than communities with higher white populations. Black people are not hooligans. This narrative is problematic. If you put any group of people in one area and then pair that with a lack of money, opportunities, and resources, it's not going to be a kumbaya area, okay? Child, speaking of racism curated by systemic U.S. systems, CMT pulled Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town music video. I don't know if you heard me, so get closer. The song is called Try That in a Small Town. So the song was released in May, but the music video was released on July 14th. Some scenes were shot in front of what appears to be the Maury County Courthouse in Tennessee. And that's where several incidents of racial violence have taken place, including the 1927 lynchings of a Black man and the Columbia race riots in 1946. The video shows footage from police brutality protests and different robberies. It's a mess. Now, Aldean didn't write the song, but he defended the song with a tweet on Tuesday, writing, and I quote, "There isn't a single video clip that isn't real news footage." Okay, so let me read some of these lyrics to you. And I quote, "Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stump on the red flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough? Well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town." Jay-Z once said, "It's America's disrespect for me." But you know, one second, let me put on my glasses because Mr. Aldean, I'm about to read you my rebuttal song, or a poem of sorts. And it goes, "Grab your guitar, take a stroll through the hood, where we burn sage and repeatedly say, I wish your behind would. Step on our block and sing your little song. I promise you, it's going to go all wrong. See, you have what we like to call selective memory, where you remember the outcome, but not how we were simply fighting for peace. Now, if I recall on January 6th, those small town people you speak of did some similar storming the Capitol and climbing walls, acting a plump, full Aldean, saying it was for a cause. Aldean, are you mad that white people and black people came together to support BLM while some of those small town people were trying to uphold racism on their end? Oh, now I see why they out here trying to ban books. Because if you actually read, darling, you would be shook. Speaking of small towns, see, we have Selma and Little Rock and Ferguson too. But you're talking guns. How of you. So stop being divisive and stop trying to trend, because the hate that you spread comes to no good end. Bars. Let me start by saying no spoilers, okay? If you are anything like me, then I know you still haven't got around to watching Black Mirror, because Netflix has so much great content. But are you all Black Mirror fans? I can't say I've seen every episode, but I've watched a few, and I don't mind it. Sometimes it's right on the money, and other times it's a little just out there for me. Well, episode 5 was one of those episodes, but I actually kind of liked it, because let me just tell you, the end, child, I did not see it coming. I got to sit down and speak with the cast members of Black Mirror episode 5, and I was able to find out how they felt when they read that initial script. So I'm very curious, Zussie, what was going through your mind when you first read the script?
Of course, I was very shocked by the sort of big twist in a way. But I really was left with the feeling of the ruminations on exploitation and celebrity culture, the celebrity culture that perhaps we feel like we've left behind because it's sort of a throwback episode in a way, but also I think it's just morphed and changed and turned into something new. And so it still felt very much like a Black Mirror episode to me, even though it was I guess some of the formatting is a little bit different.
It definitely was different. It was different this time. I loved it though. So Clara, I'm curious, in what ways do you feel like this episode was a reflection of society currently? Because it may be a throwback, but it definitely has some things going on inside of it.
Yeah, I mean that's what Charlie does so brilliantly. He, every episode reflects vividly onto society and will invite discussion, and in a society, in a world where we like to just cotton wool ourselves and only look at the nice things, I think it's really important to have a wake-up call once in a while, and wake up and smell the roses, have the blanket ripped off you, and realize what humanity is actually like, and it's truthful, and it's honest, and it's horrid, and it's a truth that people don't want to look at and acknowledge or take responsibility for. But I think that there is a responsibility that comes with there's a purpose with these episodes of placing the facts in front of people to make them aware of what is going on.
Always. Daniel, this ending scene, y'all, I watched this last night, and this ending scene, without giving away, I called my friends and I was like, oh my gosh, y'all gonna love this episode. What was going through your mind when y'all were filming that ending scene? Where did you have to go in your head?
Well, I'll take it back to the first time we heard about that set piece, which brought us into we basically rehearsed it in this really weirdly cold random hotel lobby, I think it was. And she kind of pulled out this binder that had the diagram of the whole scene. And she basically drew it up it felt like a football play. So this person wraps around here, this thing happens here, this person, something happens here. And so that entire set piece was shown to us in like this beautiful diagram that then it's like, okay, well, this is on paper. How's it going to feel like when it's up on its legs? And I remember running into that place. I don't want to spoil too much, but running in there, there's like Zassi and I, there's just this like energy that then like we had to keep doing that entrance a couple times. But I had foolishly started running a lot before every take. And so I had to do that every time because like if I don't do it once and they use that coverage, you're gonna tell that I have my breath this time. And so I married myself into running a lot. And so by the time that we ended up inside, it was exhausting, and it was it really felt like the true stakes that were written on the page. And I don't know, it was really fun to explore that churn. I like, it's so hard to talk about without spoilers, but yeah, no, it was nuts. And to get there, I think it was just using some stuff that was happening in life to really ground it and to give it the weight that it deserves.
Listen, I'm about to go listen to God Did for the 1000th time, all right, because I love that song. But see you tomorrow, girls.